Like everybody dreams of getting that particular moment.
Everybody hurts.
Everybody's got their dice out and we're ready, especially the person who's supposed to be ready
Hi,
most of the
guys.
time.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
We're professionals.
We haven't had like
I would
officially
argue it's that
more than a year now to figure this crap out. Well, you all are fine. I'm the one that's currently having a little heart palpitation.
That's what I tell everyone, that we're all fine, but Rourke is terrible.
Pretty much. Welcome, esteemed listeners. Gather round, fellow adventurers of the dice. I just lost my page, so we'll just start that over. I really, really did. Okay. I am Rurik, your guide through the mystical realms of probability of demise. As we embark on this remarkable journey, allow me to introduce the valiant souls who have brought life to our tale. First, we have Jason of the family Jasons stepping into the shoes of Asher, a courageous bard with a heart ablaze with determination.
He sets everything on fire.
That's why the joke is there. And also determination is also a pun. I was being very good on that one. I was solid. Next, we have Larissa, gracing our narrative as Trixie, a cunning and quick-witted monk wielding both wisdom and fists with equal prowess. And let us not forget Jess, whose portrayal of Tanzanite adds an ethereal death touch to our ensemble. Her very presence holds secrets of deific consequence. Together, these three extraordinary storytellers weave a captivating tapestry of adventure within Atlan's enchanted domain, a world molded by our collective imagination where science's remnants intertwine with the tendrils of magic. New intro good? Crap? Voted out?
Me gusta.
We do have some announcements. Jason, do you want to hit the merch?
Yeah.
Oh, you bannered it too.
Yeah, we have merch at TeePublic, so you should go to the link in the show notes or on the screen right now and buy stuff.
Bye.
If you are, of course, our audio listeners, which is the majority of our audience from my last gander at analytics.
Oh boy, here it comes.
You're going to go to tee.pub/lick without the K /BOD capital cast. Again, just for Larissa's benefit, that is t.pub. No, I'm stopping. I'm going to get in so
Imagine trying to type that address off of what Rourke was just saying. I think it's pubes licking.
I just like that I seem to be able to say it with a somewhat straight face, and the lighting lets me reduce the red tones my face goes into every time I say it. Because I do get embarrassed every time I say
Pube.
I'm a 13-year-old. I can't even not laugh. Okay, so our mature group of well-seasoned folk.
You really licked that announcement.
Got it in the... Okay, other announcements. Can I do Stonewall too?
Sure.
So guess who are people in this group? There are folks who sing and do things, and they are part of Stonewall, and they're doing the annual Pride concert, which is going to dig into these awesome rock and pop songs, and it's through the lens of the Stonewall Chorale itself. So it's like 46 years of pop sing and rock starness, and they have a special guest. I'm not going to say who it is, because if you go to the website, www.stonewallchorale.org, you will find out who that is. And they are performing Thursday, June 8th at 7:30 p.m. If you can't make it there, is there going to be a virtual playing? I got to a couple virtual playings, but
Not of that concert, at least not like synchronously. So
Okay.
Perhaps later in the summer. I'm not sure if we're doing video, but I would say stay tuned on our social medias to see to learn about an opportunity to view the Matthew Shepard concert from March.
Very cool.
Coming soonish.
Coming in.
Coming soon to an internet near you.
Essentially, yeah.
Probably.
Probably. Also, I did really quickly want to give a shout out to the folks who did the little character art that I really was gifted to my friends here, just because they've had these characters for a while, and I figured they needed some way to commemorate their faces. The character art that I use as little icons is not the actual like legit beautiness that is my friends' full portraits that they got. So if you're really interested in something fun and a blast to look at, there is, gosh, my breath is out of my body and I can't seem to get it back in. You should check out
do a 15-minute meditation right now.
Yes.
Everybody start.
Memes in Mockery Inn. You'll have to look them up. I think that they have a website now. They were on Etsy, but they're super cool. They're just doing a bunch of different fun little goodahs, and you can get personalized stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. All right. With that, I think we're at the word of the day. So Jess is well prepared, and she's totally ready for us to do this. I love that Larsa wasn't muted.
We heard you through Jason.
And she's not even paying attention now, so she can't tell that she was. So we have to do it for her. I'll be Trixie. Word of the day!
Word of the day.
How awful can we make it?
Okay. Yeah. Today's word of the day is a word that I think a lot of people know, but maybe didn't fully understand. So I'm reading a little book, and today's word of the day is buccaneer. So, what distinguished a buccaneer from a pirate is that buccaneers primarily sailed and did things in only the Caribbean, and they only attacked Spanish ships and Spanish towns. So unlike pirates who would attack everyone and would be everywhere, buccaneers were in the Caribbean, and they only attacked Spanish-related things. And the word comes from the Carib word of bocan, meaning a place for smoking meat, and it was French settlers in the island who learned the trade from the Indians, who were skilled in the practice of curing the raw flesh of cattle in the sun and smoking it over wood fires.
That sounds like jerky to me.
Not to be confused with buckaroo.
Yeah. So, let me just try to focus. I don't know why I'm so dark. But yeah, so that's the word of the day. A word that I think everyone knows, but maybe didn't quite understand.
I like that. That's fun. That should lead us to, gosh, I'm rolling sideways. I think my apartment's off level. Brand new apartment, but I'm slowly going this way. I am so excited that it is now time for new adventures. It's almost like we're taking off again. As we go into a recap, does anybody just want to volunteer to do it rather than roll the dice for it? I rolled the dice.
Sure, I'll do it.
Oh, you're going to just do it? Whoa.
Sure.
Volunteerism.
Yeah. Let me pull up my notes because I was so excited about my word of the day, I didn't do that.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, when we first started playing D&D, Jess was the note taker.
Yeah, I kind of have.
She's now the slacker. She's joined the rest of the D&D players of the world.
I don't know what I did before. I just had audio to re-listen to because I never took notes. I probably just forgot a lot of stuff.
Come on, computer.
Yeah, computer.
Not abnormal, I don't think.
All right, so last week, excuse me 1 second.
I shouldn't laugh, but I'm really enjoying it.
I had a boba caught in my throat.
Oh, nobody likes a ball in the throat.
Maybe that's what was wrong with that guy on the subway today. Oh,
All right, so
your joke was funnier than mine, but I didn't hear it until I was already talking.
last week we were in the floating rock float. What the heck's that place?
Falling Rock.
The Falling
Falling
Rock
Rock.
Tavern.
The fucking Rock Tavern.
I attempted to go to bed and just give up and go to sleep while the other two stayed downstairs. And is this the right day? Yes. Okay. How did this start? Okay, I don't remember exactly, but basically, there was a knock at the door, and
It was the dead guy, right?
Yeah, it was the actual head of the undead group was there, right? Who introduced us to a strange man, individual.
You knew the leash. They introduced you to the nightmare.
Yes. So the leech came, introduced us to this
The nightmare
person.
shepherd.
While all that was going on, Asher spoke with the leech regarding what it. No!
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
I almost clicked out.
I'm winning.
Rurik is trying to change the pronunciation of this word. The pronunciation of the word lich. To leech.
Leash.
Lich.
I will win.
I'm going to hook up my dog to this undead creature and take it for a walk.
So basically, Asher got some information in a brochure regarding how one becomes a god. And there were 3 ways of doing that. I don't think I need to go into all those ways right now, but there were 3 ways. And then the new creature that we were introduced to, who's going to join our team, was the Nightmare Shepherd, who's this like demon devil looking thing that also like kind of can change its appearance to look more humanoid, and made Asher and Trixie sort of do like a daydream thing, and Trixie was basically able to get out of it pretty easily. Asher is, as per usual, not cool with this guy, doesn't like him, rolled really bad.
As per usual.
He also came into my dreams, did the same thing, but I was ultimately able to get out of it. He and I
High
talked.
wisdom.
They and I talked, and basically we are now aligned. He said that, the 2 of us are more aligned than they are with the other creature, which I think they were referring to the leech? Lich?
Yep. The leash.
Lich.
The leash.
Lich.
The leash.
And so while we were talking, there was another knock at the door, and this was a bug person with a letter, and the letter basically was from Bonnie, who said that there were dragons kind of messing up our land, asking us for help. And then Asher's mom showed up. I didn't write anything about what her conversation was. I think they basically just caught up. And
Smooshed her
then,
kid and left.
yeah. And then a talking cornstalk showed up. And apparently Asher and Trixie sort of created this new race of talking corn while they were looking for me. And so, yeah.
Who hasn't created a sentient plant here and there? Come on.
And at that point, I believe you'd regathered, Oh, you got more? Good.
I have one more little thing, which I thought was funny. So, we were told that the three of us have new names, and Asher is the Ode Overlord.
Oh God.
Trixie is the Wind Whisperer, and Tanzanite's the Dark Lady. Da da da! That's all I got.
Also, we got the airship.
And we got the airship, and we're waiting to go to that to
No,
go.
You've launched. You
We
are
launched.
in
remember?
flight. There was
That's right.
Fururu.
somebody tried to blow us up. and
Rah rah rah.
Oh, it
I
did
almost
right
let
me
them.
back down. Yeah. Asher gave a speech.
Asher tried to.
Someone tried to do something and got tackled, and Asher was like, "Hey, yo, don't do that. Everyone deserves to talk." And so as soon as the guard let that guy go, he shot a fireball at us, like a gun thing. And then the guy was tackled.
Again, and then Asher did not tell them to let him up a second time.
I was like, nope, that one he just stays down.
Fool you
And
once.
yeah, that's right. Now we're gone. We're heading out.
At some point, we
So yeah, apparently my goal is to always cut off Jason. Sorry.
I was
was-
going to say at some point we should figure out who that guy was that tried to blow up our ship.
Yeah. So yeah, you are all three in the airship at different places around the airship, flying through space. No, flying about.
Welcome to Spelljammer.
A boot.
And what would you like to be? Where are you going? What would you like to be doing?
Going to Barney's house.
Right. We're headed to Bonnie's Forest, which I think is basically the patch of woods between Fisherton and Canyonville.
Well, she's centered in like the village where the thing was.
Right.
So I assume we'll go there.
To the west.
Did that place have a name before we blew it up?
The village.
The village?
I think it was literally just the village.
Where the elephant people were, and
It did have a name.
Bloomington.
Yes. Sure. I just remember I have a note that you made it up and to try to remember it, and then I didn't remember it. So.
pretty classic. That tracks.
I don't remember I remember naming Fisherton, and then Larissa getting mad at me for naming it Fisherton, and then I don't remember naming the village.
Yeah, it's been a while. But the village is no longer there.
Right.
It wasn't there even when you came back.
It's now called Bloomington Forest
Bloomington Forest.
because we blew it up.
The Boomington Forest.
The big boom forest.
Boom Boom Forest.
Big bada boom. Multipass.
Multipass. Hilo tablet multipass. Yeah, so sorry, Jason, I totally lost your name for a second there. You all are
Unforgettable. It's fine.
you are all headed to that particular location, or okay.
I mean, it can't be that just two out of the three of us are, because we're all on the ship. Sorry, the way you said that was like you all are going.
y'all.
Yeah. Yep.
Y'all.
Yep.
Okay,
Yow.
who would like?
Trixie points the airship towards the mountain and then just parachutes out the back.
Geronimo!
Okay, so I would love somebody to roll our weather dice. Could somebody roll a d12?
I'd do it. Oh, wait, it's a D12. Sorry. I got excited. A 4.
Great. So the first
Too slow.
what? The first day, and you've been in this semi-equatorial region where the seasons aren't really visible almost all your lives. It's been, pretty steady throughout. There's a bit of a colder season, a bit of a warmer season. There's protection and everything. But as you've been traveling, you've been seeing that there is seasonality to different locations. And you know that north of here, the seasonality is a little bit more striking. Yeah,
North.
I'm just dropping that whole
Up.
up, the up direction.
In the town of Uppington.
Sorry.
It's painful. I forgot what you rolled now.
4.
4. Okay. As you're kind of making your way, there's light clouds. Occasionally, you think that there's a little bit of rain, but it could just simply be the fact that you are floating through clouds, and it's just the misting of the clouds and everything. But luckily, this particular airship has an interior space, so even as you get colder, you can go inside. The downside is that going through clouds is often like going through fog, and your progress is slowed a bit just because the visibility, even through these magical tubes, is restricted, unless, of course, you would like to plow through it more hazardously. I would love to hear what you would be doing as you're...
I mean, we're not in a particular rush, right, guys?
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
think
feel
one of us
like...
has to stand on the bow and shout Odin every 10 seconds until we get out of the fog. I think that's how that works. Odin!
Wee woo. Wee woo.
Oh, that hurts. All right. So as you're flying along, you don't really see much of the landscape below, just due to cloud cover. It's not that these are heavy clouds, but it is just enough to make it obscured. All of us, I think, have traveled on a plane at some point. I don't know that everybody in our audience has. But there's this fun effect where even through the thinnest of clouds, you can barely make out the land. It's just crazy. But yes, you travel through the day and into the night. But otherwise, things seem to go well. Would somebody else like to roll the next day's weather?
Go for it, Jason.
If you put us in a snowstorm, I'll be very upset with you.
10.
10. The clouds evaporate overnight. It's actually kind of fun. Trixie, are you still trying to travel by night, taking turns with controls, or are you letting the airship drift overnight?
I think we would probably take shifts. Like I can't remember who the other person, if there was another person that I was teaching, but whoever would want to learn, I would instruct them.
Oh, you used to have a crew, so we weren't learning.
Right.
Because it was like in the year period after the explosion, like you learned to drive an airship and were like the captain of an airship. And so you had a crew that were all killed by the Black Dragon for the most part.
So yeah, I think that just like you can figure out a travel method, and I think the travel does pick up a little bit if you're willing to travel overnight. Asher and Tanzanite, would you have each taken turns trying to learn and control the ship, or would you have avoided that task?
Tanzanite would not have avoided it. but
Yeah, I'm gonna say if Trixie asked me to, I would try to learn, but I don't think I would actively volunteer to try to learn because
exactly.
Asher's in a funk right now.
Okay, so Trixie would.
Sorry, I just talked right over you. I apologize.
Same.
my brain.
This becomes really on you, Trixie. Are you enrolling them in the work?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, just to kind of like distract them and take their minds off of everything going on, and get them out of their own heads. You know, I would have at least been like, "Hey, look at this cool thing."
So
But
I would love to say that as the course of this day is waxing on, the first day before we actually get to what Jason rolled for, that you are kind of like doing short snippets of just like how to do like basic night travel, but you're making yourself nearby available for an emergency, or like you've given them instructions, like if this happens, wake me up, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The Nightmare Shepherd has taken up residence in the bow of the ship. They're trying to stay, they're aware of how they affect other people, it seems. And they're trying to stay at the front. And because of that, at night when you're all traveling, the shadows seem to flock to the Nightmare Shepherd. Even Tanzanite, your shadows seem to just be drawn to them. And so the front of the ship is just always a little dark, always a little bit more in the grays. And early that first day, as you're traipsing out, it seems like one of the shadows detaches from the milieu of the front. And Trixie, surprising you, your recent companion is that shadow and makes its way along your neck. It had kind of disappeared since the battle, and now it's back. And there's Emmy just right there.
I can't remember. She's tangible, right?
Mm-hmm. She is very unlike the actual shadows. She just seems to come from the shadows when she emerges from different places. And she is tangible. She's draconic. She's deep, dark red. And
I just do like a little like absent-minded like stroking underneath like her jawline. Can you like anyone who's ever owned a lizard or any type of reptile, like usually just like a kind of thing like right here is usually what they like. So just kind of like absent-mindedly scratching under her chin.
Okay. I would think that as you're doing that, you hear a strange sound. You hear what sounds like, or maybe it's not even sound, it's just if you feel it, just these like low frequency vibrations. And you would think that it's a purr, but if you know what crocodiles do when they're making that noise, it's not a purr.
Right.
But yeah, you do hear that as you scritch the scruff. Day turns to night, and here's the clouds are clearing, and as the clouds clear, you get this high wind. It does work in your favor. You gain a lot of time with this high wind, but it seems like a lot of creatures are taking advantage of the high winds. It's a little bit more challenging to travel in that manner. The winds are playing with the various components of the airship in ways that are different. It's a trial. It's a new device, and there seems to be all sorts of places where windage will catch, and it just takes a little bit of effort to manage it. So it takes pretty much your full attention, Trixie. Asher and Tanzanite, could I get both of you to roll perception checks if you're checking out what's going around?
Let me pull up my stats. Not Discord. Nope.
30.
30?
30.
Dear Lord.
I see everything.
And that
Lord
wasn't
is right.
Perception.
that wasn't even a natural 20.
Folks, they're level 18.
Jesus.
This is normal. Level 18.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
15.
okay. So, Tanzanite, I would like you to describe to me what you are doing since your attention is not on this. That winds are pretty high, whipping around up above. Are you down below? Are you up above? And just what are you engaged in? Because I would just like you to fashion for me the idea of what is drawing your attention.
If I'm not with Trixie or like doing the ship stuff, I would be near the Nightmare Shepherd just to see if they start a conversation or they, want to discuss anything, but I don't actively start a conversation with them.
I think that Asher, you're wherever you choose to be, and you just keep seeing the Nightmare Shepherd and Tanzanite spending a lot of time together. It's definitely a little bit of an attention grab for you, I'm sure, based on your feelings. And
I don't know what you mean.
the thing that you really notice is they don't talk to each other for long stretches of time. It's almost like they're very comfortable in the silence with each other. Or whatever else you might think it is. If you wanted to try to pierce what Tanzanite's thinking is, I guess Tanzanite, you could roll whatever you think would be how you're hiding things, and he could roll an insight check. But otherwise, I'm just going to let you all make up what's happening in your own character fantasies, which is what we would do in real world anyways. But there is a seemingly companionable silence as neither of them speak for hours. And as you're contemplating that in whatever way you would be contemplating that, you notice a flock of birds, V formation, as birds that are migrating often take, move and place themselves just behind the airship, using the airship to break the wind. And for an hour or so, that's all they do. And then they move closer, and you see that they're fairly large birds, maybe familiarly large birds.
Ooh.
And one moves to take the lead position in a V, placing the airship within that V shape. Much larger
Chill.
than the one you've ever occupied space of. They cut the wind even more and increase your speed even more, even as the tailwind pushes you faster and faster. And then the formation veers in a different direction.
Okay, bye.
As you let them move on their own direction, they pass off into the distance.
As they go, I'll be like,
You beat me to it.
uh-oh.
One of them turns back and kind of circles once in place, not circling the airship, but circling once in place before drifting back to the formation, and then back to you all, and then back to the formation, and then back to you, and then back to the formation. It continues down with the rest of the formation. Could I get somebody to roll for day 3?
I'll do day 3. Is this a D12, right?
Yep, D12.
Attack. This one? Yes.
Did you have flock of rocks on your weather table?
5.
I have strange phenomenon. So I just try to think of things you've run into recently that would make sense to have strange phenomenon around. 5. The next day, the skies are clear once again. Clear skies. The winds have died down, but you're going at a nominal pace. As you float forwards into the honestly the setting of the sun, because you are headed in that direction of where the sun is setting, you catch sight of again that group of birds.
Uh-oh.
And they fly with you for an hour or so before once again peeling off. And once again, one of them circles a couple of times, almost coming back to your airships, and then back to the flying V formation, then back to the circle near the airship. One more mournful before it follows back with that V formation once again.
Shh.
At one point, having run into the birds again, Trixie would slightly begin to doubt her ability to navigate, like wondering if she is accidentally going in circles. But based on the changing landscape, changing landscape below, she knows that's not the case. But she has like a slight faltering in her own navigating skills for a minute there.
Anybody else have anything that they would do during this day? Standing in silence with the
I will sulk.
nightmare shepherd sulking in the corner.
Probably
Roll
near
for sulk.
probably near the aft of the ship, away from the nightmare shepherd.
Roll for severity of sulk.
Maybe brood.
Roll for
We gotta go
brooding.
between sulking and brooding.
You know what I would do? I think what I would do is send a message to Bonnie.
Okay.
So let me mark that off of my spells. So spells. Oh, message. No, sending.
Sending.
Okay. So I'm going to say Bonnie, we are heading your way. Please keep an eye out for us. If you are able to help get us there faster, that's cool.
Do, 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 do.
I mean, she's wind. She might be able to, like, foo-foo.
I think you get kind of just like the sigh of a breeze in your nostrils that smells fungal, very different from the air that you're in right now. Fungal and a little salty. A strange mix of earth and sea. And you hear, I shall keep a watchful eye and remain vigilant, ready to assist you.
Cool.
That's all I would just give her a little ring a dink. That's all I would do.
Okay. Go ahead. You are well on track. This is the last day of travel. Could you go ahead and somebody roll the D12 again?
I'ma do it.
So say, yeah, we're back at the top.
I'm gonna roll D12 right here.
That's a 20. Try again.
That's a 20. That's not possible with a 12. No.
I know. I rolled a 15. I was like, that's not right.
That is definitely not right. You rolled a what?
An 8.
An 8. Okay, so this day there is a little bit more heat in the air. And you can kind of see as you move through space, because it's such a clear day, you can see off in the distance on the starboard side of the airship to the right, as you're looking forward, you can see off in the distance a terrain that looks a little bit more damaged, destroyed. There's a volcanic nature to the soil, and very little is growing there. And the further off you look, you can kind of see, especially as night starts coming in, a little bit of a glow in that direction. And the heat you feel, you first attribute to maybe it's just this space, this area. But looking off to the port side, you can see the other forest, the forest that you had chosen not to walk by on the way back when. The forest just directly north of Overton. And you can see that that's also kind of like this, just waves of heat seem to be rising all about. It's just a hot scorcher of a day. It's like the lands are hitting a heat wave. And again, just before evening, you see a couple of birds, the very large birds, but it's only a couple of them. And they fly with you for an hour. They circle, and then they continue flying with you for another hour. And
These
take
damn
these
birds.
sneezes.
If I'm a
These
rock, can I
sneezes
talk to
again.
them?
You haven't tried it. Are you trying it?
I'm gonna jump up on the railing. I'm gonna say, if I had a band, I would name it Flock of Rocks. Pretty punk rock, yeah. And then I'm gonna fly or just drop off the edge and turn into a rock.
Yeah. As you fall the first few feet, you see both the rocks that are there begin to shift their trajectories, and then as you change form into this large rock, they pause and hold up their flight and eye you warily, but they also seem to be trying to keep pace with the airship and with you. So it's like a bit of a moment of swirling feathers and directionlessness as they kind of reestablish their glide. I think as a rock, you definitely feel the lift of the heat and how it makes flying in this form quite easy.
Muted.
I'm gonna fly up into their formation and be like, "Caw-caw," like, hello. Can you understand me?
You hear, and it's funny because honestly, maybe you've accidentally shaped the creatures of this landscape, because you hear from the first one, "Glorious sibling, behold your newfound form, transcending the boundaries, embracing a new norm. Together we dance through heavens on wind and high, two majestic souls under the boundless sky."
Oh no.
Oh my god.
They speak in
The
rhyme.
other one hovers closer to you and turns its beak, and you hear, "Welcome, transformed one, on our sacred flight, unveiling the mysteries, soaring with pure delight. The skies embrace us, all united as kin. In unity and purpose, let our journey begin." And as they both finish these two statements, they start to move to the left. The same direction each group of rocks has flown each day.
Oh, I feel like I need to respond in rhyme, but that's really hard to do just off the top of my head.
You're telling me.
I will say, wait, don't go. Stay here with the flow of this airship.
Roll for iambic pentameter.
Nowhere close to iambic pentameter.
Okay. Got to work on my brain here. So
You started this.
I know.
This is
Totally
not my
did.
fault.
It's totally my fault. I accept that.
Do you accept the consequences of your actions?
You hear, "I hear your plea in the currents of the wind. I slow my flight, and my keen eyes gaze down upon you. Speak, dear traveler, and let me understand the urgency in your voice." And it's kind of a break from the rhyminess that they had. It's almost like they've realized that you don't speak that same language that they speak, and now they're
Adjusting.
yeah, they're making the difference. But then you also do hear them speaking to one another, and the other one says, "Oh, the traveler, I hear their plea. Their words fill the sky so clear. Mighty wings, I'll slow my flight and stay with thee through night and day and night." Just like they're still rhyming to each other, just not to you.
Oh my god. My brain's not ready for this at all.
Would you like to use rolling to solve this problem for you?
Hang on. I'm going to say, speaking in rhyme, flying in time, why do you follow our ship with such boisterous zip?
Ooh,
Nice.
That's good.
You hear, "Oh, fret not, dear traveler, worry no more, for I am here, a rock to adore. Together we'll face life's ebb and flow. In this moment, let time go slow." And as they say slow, you feel like your entire flight is pausing as the world around you freezes. And it's like you're just sitting facing these two rocks, and all motion has stopped. The airship seems to not be moving. The world around you seems to have stopped. And you hear, "In silence I shall wait and hear your whispered hopes, your deepest fear. Together we'll face the unknown. In unity we will groan."
Problem is, I don't want to make you guys sit and wait while I try to write responses to this.
They're frozen in time. They don't know.
Do 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 do.
Jess and Larissa, talk amongst yourselves. We're reading poetry.
I'm reading this really cool book about pirates.
I
That's where I
love
got
it.
the Buccaneer
The
from.
Buccaneer thing. Is this another one of the like? What book are you? Because I feel like
So no, it's called. What the heck does this say? Pirates, Buccaneers, and Gentlemen Adventures, and it's a bunch of like really short, like essays maybe about just like it's like a not fiction, a non-fiction pirate book. So it like
cool.
talks about different pirates and like the difference between all the things. And I was just really like pirates, and it's like a little mini, textbook, but interesting. Got it for my birthday.
Shout out to Jono.
Shout out to Jono.
I'm going to say, we seek to help a friend in need. From dragons must our friend be freed. Will you join us? Lend your aid. Bring your talons for use as blades.
Oh, snap. That was good.
Immediately. And can you just roll a charisma check? You choose if you want it to be a persuasion, you decide how that was intended to be received.
Natural 20.
Oh, can you just add that up for us? Just curious.
That's a
bajillion.
Persuasion check of 37, if you're wondering.
Jesus Christ.
Well, sit back, buckle your seatbelts, because here's a rhyme off the top of my head to fit in with all this hot mess. So, we rocks majestic in our flight, a beacon in the sky's grand light. You offer guidance, wise and true, but alas, your path is misconstrued. With wings unfurled, we've sent to guide through treacherous valleys far and wide. Yet you lost in your own stubborn way. Dismiss our presence, stray and sway. We hear your calls, but turn deaf ear. Blinded by no ego, no wisdom to adhere. In arrogance, I forge my own trail, unaware of the perils that may assail. Oh, new rock, I beseech you, forgive your pride. Fail to see the truth that we provide. In our grace, you are offered a saving hand, yet ignored, unable to understand. Now we fly, lost and alone, offering the guidance you've never known. That kind of sucked, but I'm trying. A lesson learned
so
in
impressed
humble
right now.
strife. Embrace our wisdom if you value your life. And again, they turn.
So I think they want us to come with
Oh my God,
them.
follow.
Yeah, you're still a bird,
Follow
dude.
them.
I know. All right, I'm going to fly over to the bow of the ship,
Time is resumed immediately at the end of their sentence, by the
like
way.
as close as I can get, and then just like drop my spell and drop onto the deck.
Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw just to see how successful this is. I just want to see if it's like, do you miss?
Oh God. 28.
Definitely
That's
no
not good.
Tolkien when it comes to poems. That's for sure. 28. Yeah, you land with aplomb. It's perfect. It's a beautiful landing. It almost looks like you land as a rock, and then suddenly there is a rock no more. Just I'm going to keep rhyming. There's no longer a rock there, but just you standing there perfectly
In the superhero
peacefully
pose.
calm. Yeah. What is your superhero pose? Is it like the Black Widow pose, or is it like a Superman pose? What is your
Like the Iron Man pose.
Nice. Oops, I just threw my thing around. Yeah, you land. Your friends via intercom or via in person, do you share what you've learned?
They want us to follow them.
Okay.
I hope they're not evil, but they seem okay.
Okay. I turn the ship to follow the rock.
As you turn the ship, there's a few 15, 20 minutes where travel continues to be the same, but suddenly the rocks turn and shift. And as they turn and shift, you turn to shift and follow behind them, you catch a current that was unseen to you, but clearly the rocks knew about, and you shoot forward much more quickly than you'd been moving, even though you'd been moving quite fast as it was. And you realize you've hit some sort of, and you occasionally have hit these before in the prior ship, but your ship wasn't really capable of handling them and they were dangerous. But this ship it seems to be handling it very well. In fact, all of those little pockets of aerodynamic disturbance seem to be perfectly aligned to this, and you've hit a jet stream.
Welcome to subspace. Oh wait,
It's the EAC of
It's the EAC. And as you move, you move towards the forest that you were seeking, and you can see it from above, and the rocks leading you. The just keeping in formation with them keeps you within this windage space that's really truly making everything work very successfully. And you can see that forest, that wild forest that was once simply a daunting and dangerous place, where the trees were tall and thick and the undergrowth was dense, and the shadows deep. And you remember there being talk of wild animals and unpredictability and just being a forest that is home to many dangerous creatures. Now it appears even more eerie. And as you move, you seem to get low, and you can see that there has been an entwinement of magic into the woods that has made the trees grow taller and the shadowy spaces even deeper. You can feel, Tanzanite, your shadows growing excited. You occasionally spot creatures down below, brief glimpses as they pass by. They seem more dangerous, possibly, and some, for those of you who've explored any type of mythology, or like for Asher, you've spent a lifetime looking at books and stuff. They seem to be emblems of mythologies. You also note scorch marks of skirmishes that have clearly happened between the residents of this forest and some other being. Something has been terrorizing this forest for years, and the forest itself in some ways has been fighting back. But you can see that the burn marks are making their mark, that the forest is slowly being consumed and destroyed, even as it's being invigorated by these magical components. And then as you come down low over the treetops, though, continuing to follow these rocks, you see off in the distance, north, the mountains, the layout of the mountains, and far off in the blurriest distance on the highest peak, a lone tower you were told about quite a while ago before you went to Marabeard's Delve. And there's all the rumors about that. And it's also the direction to which, when you were off in the swamps, that the dragon had moved. But you're kind of almost on the opposite side of that location at this point. The swamps were further to the west, and when you were in Kenyaville, you were to the east. So that must be possibly the dragon's home. And then the wind dies, the rocks move away, and you are slowed because you're under your own power again, without the additional support of that great current of air. And as it slows down, you can look around and take a closer look at the forest if you'd like, or talk amongst yourselves, whatever you're up to. But what are you up to in this space and time, and what would you like to know about?
I'm going to kind of do like a lazy circling kind of thing to see if either that village is, like, that area is still open, or if there's like a clearing or somewhere that I can set the ship down.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
That's a nat one.
You're not anywhere near where that village was. Whatever the trajectory of this flight was and the speed with which it happened, you weren't being directed to that location.
I would like to go up to Tanzanite at the bow and look over the edge and see if anything looks familiar.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check as well.
My perception is stupid. Now 24.
24. Okay. You look over and you can see those trees that have grown taller. Their branches are twisted and gnarled, and you can see almost like runic designs on the trunks. Some sort of written piece on that. You can see that the undergrowth is really thick in places. And looking through the undergrowth, trying to spot an opening, you see some creatures that are just a surprise. You see a horned beast with 4 legs. You see beasts similar to what you saw before. It's just that they're so close together. You're seeing so many of them. It's like there's almost a herd of creatures here. You see small 4-limbed creatures with wings that keep taking off and landing. They could be fairies. They could be bugs. They could be something else entirely. They could be little tiny dragons.
They could be brown. They could be blue. They could be violet. Sorry.
And you can see that some of them are aggressive and unpredictable, kind of like getting into little squabbles where they are before another creature will step forward and divide the 2 squabbling, or 3 or 4 or 5 squabbling creatures. And kind of looking through that, you can see a few creatures that are injured. Scorch marks along flanks of some 4-legged beast with a strange array of decorative plumage. Other beasts that slither and crawl, tracking you with their eyes. And then a break in the trees. A small glade. We can't hear you.
You're muted.
So I'm going to point to the glade and be like, let's park here, over here.
With Asher's support, Trixie, you're able to see this small glade, a small opening. Maybe distracted with how this is not the location to which you had first attempted to arrive. It's probably a little disconcerting, and so his directions bring your attention to focus on that little glade. As Trixie seeks to land, anything else anybody's doing? Tanzanite, Asher, Trixie?
Weren't we told they didn't leave us a way to get down off of the airship? I thought you said that last time, that there didn't seem to be any ladders or like ways to get off.
You haven't really explored the airship to find those things, so I've been enjoying waiting for this moment.
Okay, well, I'm going to look around for how I'm going to get down. Ropes, ladders, teleporters.
Okay. Roll an investigation check as you
Investigate.
search the ship for stuff.
Sturf.
Trixie, while you're landing, could you go ahead and roll a intelligence check? You have proficiency in airships, so you can add your proficiency bonus and whatever your intelligence bonus is.
15 for my search.
Okay. Tanzanite, what are you up to?
Still just sitting by the shadow, nightmare shadow.
They've been silent this whole time, just seeming peacefully in that space, communing with their shadows and your shadows both. But Trixie, what'd you get?
18.
Okay. Trixie makes a landing more swiftly than Asher locates a way off the airship. Trixie, you see some well-marked toggles that launch a harpoon-like tool into the earth below, anchoring you in place. You can, even as you manipulate them, you can see that you can actually manage them to aim at specific locations. And you can see how this might be used as a weapon, possibly. But even as it bites into the earth and the anchoring component comes into play, you realize that if you did, whatever you hit would then be attached to your ship. And then 2 more launch at the same time as you launch that first one. And since you didn't aim those and you weren't aware of them, it's just by luck that they happen to hit Earth, and you realize, oh, should probably aim all 3 of those in the future to truly anchor us down so we don't hit something that we shouldn't hit. It's nothing in this moment, but there's 3 points of anchorage, and your airship is held low to the ground. Asher, you feel the airship kind of jerk into place as it kind of just lightly is tucked and jerked around by the anchoring and the loss of momentum. But it's pretty decent landing. It's not, that beautiful, perfect landing where nobody feels a thing as you hit the runway, but it is a solid and comfortable landing. And just as that happens, you see a little mechanical setup at the bottom layer of the airship. The problem is, how do you get down there? Because you can see that there's nothing holding below. And it's a little bit of a puzzle for a moment. It slows you down, and eventually you figure out that it's a little bit of an elevator system. Hand crank. And once you crank it into place, you are able to lower yourself and anybody else. But it's definitely not built for components, and you kind of wonder for a moment why they didn't use this, except it probably would have been lifted into place during the fire. But you're still looking at it going like, that one guy could have run down here and lowered this for somebody else to get on board. It would have made things a lot easier. Again, maybe the smoke-filled compartment deterred them, and you can see there's still some smoke damage down here. Prestidigitating away the scorch marks.
Oh my god.
We'll say next time we travel that Asher will spend some time down here just mending prestidigitation, mending prestidigitation, mending prestidigitation.
Oh my gosh.
Great. That is hilarious. Eventually, Trixie has to come down and check because she keeps hearing that squeaky noise of your prestidigitation spell. She's just worried that something's falling apart down here. Because she hasn't turned off all the intercoms. She just is constantly hearing all the little whispers all throughout the whole ship. She's like, why is that squeaking happening from there now?
The mop just goes by with my unseen servant.
It's just a little magical happy land of cleaning.
Turn the bow or the bowels of the ship into Fantasia as I'm just wandering around, like animating things, and that'll be a fun trip. Anyway,
as landing preparations are fully made, Asher is prepared with a way to exit the ship. Tanzanite, you're sitting there with the Nightmare Shepherd, and they suddenly shake their body, and you realize that they've been asleep for 4 days. Hello. I apologize, maybe?
Nightmare Shepherd, go ahead and take a long rest.
How was your nap?
Sending dreams out to the world. Trying something new.
How'd it go?
How was your sleeps?
I don't know. Game Master, how were my sleeps?
I don't know. Why don't you roll a wisdom saving throw and we'll find out through danger
Okay.
and recklessness.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw. Let's see. Okay.
I don't know if it's really supposed to be a wisdom saving throw, but I like making it a wisdom saving throw since you're strong in that.
Yeah. Okay, plus. So, okay. 25.
You haven't had a nightmare, which you should have had nightmares given your recent experiences.
Yeah. I'm going to say I've actually slept really great these last few days. Guess I have you to thank for that.
I don't know. I'm still trying to understand this, but I like it. I like it a lot.
That's good. Good. I think we're here. I think we made it.
Ah, good. Have you been sitting there long?
Yeah. Just sat down.
Well, let's find your friends. The Asher was, I hope, okay. I'm worried about how they reacted to me in the beginning, but hopefully we'll be able to build a solid relationship now.
Oh, does that mean I have to roll a wisdom saving throw to see how I reacted?
You could roll a charisma saving throw.
Maybe if you... Do you know any jokes?
28.
You see them think for a long time. You had beautiful dreams, Asher. In fact, your fear of this creature has been replaced by icy frustration, broodiness, and disregard, or whatever you choose to call it, for the way that they spent so much time with Tanzanite. You have had nothing to interrupt that blossoming regard of whatever nature you choose to describe it as. But yeah, perfect. So I lost track. Tanzanite.
I was asking if you knew any jokes.
Oh, wasn't really my province before. Is that something I should work on?
No. Just he really likes jokes, so that's why I was. I could give you a joke if you want. You
Okay.
can tell it to him.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I googled nightmare jokes and now I'm reading.
I'm also not very good at jokes, but do you know what cows are?
Do we know what cows are?
I'm assuming we know what cows are. I'm taking a liberty.
Take the liberty. A mystical creature that produces sand and consumes vast quantities of methane.
Sure. Okay. You know, that doesn't matter. But, okay. So the joke is, where do you find a cow with no legs? Right where you
I
left
would
it at. We have no legs.
Why would I keep a cow with no legs?
Don't think too much about the joke because then it won't work. But if you just repeat that to Asher, maybe it'll like break the ice.
Ah, I see. You describe things more literally than they are. So, I have one.
Okay.
What do you do when you want to get rid of a dream?
I don't know.
You wake up.
You know, that one's really good.
I can hear all of this, right?
What?
Because of the
Yeah.
intercom.
Oh, yeah.
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 I'd go with the cow one, but your choice.
Ah. Okay.
Yours was really good too, though.
So what's the best way to get rid of a cow?
No. Where's
Cut off its legs!
the cow? Do we hear that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Thank you.
Don't do that. You're welcome.
okay. So maybe don't tell him any of those.
Hey, Tanzanite.
Yes.
I once had a nightmare about insomnia. I haven't slept since.
Yeah, that's tough. What is your most terrifying nightmare? I'm trying to remember, and I think that they were the ones you can't remember.
Maybe we'll just keep that to yourself. Maybe I don't need to know. You guys should come down. There's a way out of the ship down here. I found it.
Okay.
Good.
So
And
let's go.
the Nightmare Shepherd stands up to their full height and
So as
towering
they're-
over
As they're,
Tanzanite by
as they're
6
making their
feet.
way down, I have to tell you guys this joke.
Making their way downtown.
I have this recurring nightmare where not only am I forced to become a vegan, but then I'm stranded alone on a desert island and there's nobody to tell about it.
If you're
So
vegan,
good.
we don't mean offense. But that's funny.
That's a good joke, though. That's the one that made me laugh out loud when I opened this page.
That's so bad. Bad.
As you're walking down Tanzanite and Trixie, you probably hear this as you're moving about the ship. Asher, you probably hear it as well. You hear the shadow or the Nightmare Shepherd whispering to its shadows, its smaller collection of shadows, not to Tanzanite shadows, but you hear it whispering and saying, "What's the difference between a nightmare and a dream?" And then it just seems stuck. Like it's trying to answer a serious question. And then you're at the elevator where Asher is.
Oh no.
So
Hi, Asher.
Hello?
So,
is
you like
this
my
the
joke?
way we leave?
I loved it.
so that.
Your cow joke was good. I liked it.
Thank you.
Yes. Strange that you would keep a cow without legs, but yes, it was good.
Found it very amusing.
Pixie just
All right.
like,
Shall we
here we
get
go again.
in the elevator?
What did Trixie do as
Just rolls her eyes and goes, Jesus, here we go again.
so yeah, are all four of you boarding?
People
I
There's-
do.
or the elevator, yeah.
Yeah, there's just enough room. It's not much bigger than the four of you kind of crowded together. Asher, go ahead and roll a strength saving throw. Since you've
Oh,
just volunteered to be
no.
the turner of the wheel.
Oh no.
Of all the people. That's a oh, hang on. With my minus one, that's a 9.
Oh dear.
We all died. The end.
It's not that it's dangerous. It's that Asher's not quite strong enough to hold the wheel in place with the current weight at a steady rate of descent. So it's one of those situations, Asher, where you get to decide if you're going to try to play it off as, oh, you intended to go down quickly, or it was an uncontrolled fall, but it's not unsafe. You are able to get down, but it's a very, very fast belay down.
Very fast.
I'm just like, yeah. Sorry, I thought probably in a hurry. So let's.
Those of you listening, Asher just kissed his muscle.
My bicep.
You are there at the glade. Maybe a little bit of heart and throat, stomach adjustment.
Hey, Tanzanite. How do you know you can trust a cow not to tell you a lie? Because it's no bull.
Oh. I was going to say put a truth spell on him.
You can see the nightmare shepherd just looks really confused. What are the three of you up to?
What do you name the cow with no legs?
Name a cow with no legs?
Make it stop!
Betsy.
Ground beef.
Oh. Yes, that is clever.
Okay, and there's a door, I assume, at the bottom here, or a ramp or something.
It's all open-ended. It's you just have literally lowered a metal cage on one side and
Just
totally
download
open
this.
on all the other sides.
Just download this royalty-free thing. So I apologize if it's the completely wrong outdoor sounds.
Yeah, you all make yourselves
Oh.
in the woods.
Caw-caw!
A little glade, the breeze blowing by. Trixie, did you just caw?
She did.
Nothing happens.
Just a little one. Just a little one.
Trixie gets eaten by a rock.
Tanzanite, did you mute yourself on purpose?
I didn't mean to. I guess I did.
Okay.
I'm going to step out and send a message to Bonnie. And I'm going to say, we've landed in a grove. And we're here. Where best to find you? Love you.
Okay,
you send that message, and it's using the sending spell. There's like, it's too long before you hear the reply, and you know that you have lost their opportunity to reply. And just as you're starting to go, oh, crud, I'm going to have to redo this, you hear right behind you, you've arrived. Without that accent. How wondrous. Okay, well, let's go relax. We have a few moments. The last incursion was several hours ago. I see that you finally followed the rocks.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't know that we were supposed to until I turned into one and talked to them.
You know, they kept telling me that you didn't seem to understand, and I thought I was going to have to travel to where we last met. But I figured, you know, if you were attentive to the whispers of the rustling leaves, nature would guide you gently my way.
Oh, I just leaped off the ship in the middle of the air and turned into a rock. But
By listening to the wind.
sure,
Thank you, Bonnie, for your help.
those birds are really good at poetry.
They are.
It makes
I've never really...
makes me feel bad about myself, but that's another day. A story for another time.
Perhaps you should spend some time interning with them.
Maybe I should.
That would be wise. I will let your intentions be known as we travel deeper into the grove. the trees will carry your words to the rocks.
Well, sounds like you have a dragon problem.
Yes. Let's journey forth in reverence and see if we can't figure this out before they burn down my whole forest. And she leads you to a very large tree, and she kind of
If it's not campers with cigarettes, it's dragons. Gosh.
What did you say?
So I tell you, if it's not campers with cigarettes, it's dragons.
Asher and Tanzanite, you end up taking the lead. You're given direction by Bonnie, but Bonnie trails behind a little bit. So, Trixie, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Are you angry with me?
No.
You don't reach out like Asher and Tanzanite do.
How does Asher reach out?
Just, I hear.
I mean, I don't know. It feels like the last times we kind of talked to you, you were too busy for us. So I just figured it would be best to leave you to it. You didn't really seem to need or want us around anymore. So I didn't take it personal. I assumed you'd outgrown us.
You thought I didn't want to be friends with you anymore?
No, not that. Just that you had other priorities.
Well, I know I was busy at first, but I kept seeing and hearing about your travels because you kept flying over the forest, and I thought you might stop by, but you never did. And I was just curious if I had upset you.
No, and I'm sorry if it seemed that way. I just you seemed to be enjoying your new role and your new space, and so I didn't want to bother.
Oh, I am enjoying it. It would be lovely to have a partner in this work. I'm realizing well, at first there was no choice. It was just you had all disappeared, and I honestly thought you were... I thought the worst and hoped for the best and lingered as I worked. But then you were back, and I was busy, and I couldn't leave. I still can't leave. But I thought I would see more of you. I didn't know I could be lonely with so many friends around. But it's not your problem.
I mean, it can be. I mean, if you want us, maybe once all this is over, I can come stay for a while.
Sure, her face lights up. I would love that. That would be wonderful. I made bargains and deals to watch over where you were all at, and I have to fulfill that. And I've recently realized that there's few ways to leave this bargain. I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I was there when you all came back. I'm glad that I've been able to help at a distance on occasion. I've been struggling to hold things together here a bit more recently, but at first I did my best to I held a green dragon for a few years. I held it, and then it broke free, and I don't know what happened with it, and I hope that it.
Is that the one that likes ideas?
This one was very selfish and mean and angry.
Oh, is
Did
this
it have two
the
little
poisony
ones
one?
in it?
It did not have. Maybe that's why it finally broke free, though. It could have been seeking to hatch a clutch. I didn't even understand at first what it was, but I feared if it had gotten loose that it would kill things beyond my forest, and what's here I can protect.
Well, we weren't able to save everyone in its path, but we were able to keep it from hurting anyone else when
That
we
is a
ran into it.
relief to hear. Perhaps you'll be able to deal with this other.
Which is it? The red one?
Yes, it is red.
The red, like very large old one.
Yeah. Do you know its name? We've taken to giving it a name.
We don't know its name, but Asher starts loading water bullets into his gun.
Well, we've been calling it Scorchfire
That sounds about right.
because it just likes to fly through and scorch things. It's not been after us as much as it's been after, and she nods up to the tower as she's walking along with you all. It's been really interested in the tower. I'm sure that they have a different name for it up there.
Oh, it's fighting against the tower?
It seems to go there fairly regularly to try to burn it. At first, I think it lingered, but now lately, it's just been
Do you know who lives in the tower?
strange creatures have been seen. My scouts report that there's a group of folk who seem to work in it, and I did send a particular friend there, and they indicated that it's alive with magic, more concentrated even than the area you went down so long ago.
Oh boy.
It seems tamer, though, somehow. And you see her eyes glow for a second, bright green, and she just looks at all three of you and at the Nightmare Shepherd, and her eyes fade back to normal. She goes, "Oh, you are almost as aglow as you could possibly be. You've got quite a bit of magic on you all at this point."
Yeah, we do okay.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, but it's put us in a difficult position.
I've been curious how things might play out for other folk. I've been isolated here, and I've learned some lessons. I'm guessing you've learned similar lessons. We're scary to others, aren't we?
Yes. That's what we're finding out.
Yeah. I scare the crap out of the people north of here, just around the mountains. They've come once or twice.
But dude,
Like it.
I was going to say, that sounds like something you do on purpose.
Well, if I'm going to rule the air, the forests, and all the seas, one must have a little
The water
respect.
above the water.
I've learned that it's not water. I am an informed cosmopolitan forest dweller, if you will. The above the water, however, is a curiosity. I can't breathe up there, and I like it.
Well, just don't fly so high you can't get back down.
That's the goal. And you can see a feral grin just cross her face. And a lot of the more, even though you can see that there's been changes to her physicality that have incorporated some features of land and air creatures, you see the feral deep sea creature show for just a moment as she considers whatever's beyond the atmosphere of the planet. Things to consider. So, I know where the dragon comes from primarily, and she gestures, and she's kind of pointing in the same direction as those fields you saw of the high heat, cracked volcanic ground that you had seen on one of the days of travel, off in the distance. On that day that was a scorcher of a day. It also has been known to try subtler tactics coming from different directions. But I don't know if that's the appropriate move to make. There's also you could find out what's going on with the tower. Maybe they would help. We probably will have another incursion in a few days. It's been a little less frequent now that the Tower of the Mountains seems to be the focus. I do apologize. I did not ask my scouts to go close enough to discover more about that tower. I could tonight if you would like.
I mean, we could take our airship over there, get there really quickly.
Yes. You'd probably be seen.
I think
But-
the goal is to scout, not to announce our arrival.
I mean,
Well, you could announce. That would be fine. I
if
mean,
we're looking
whatever
for
you
help
want.
fighting the dragon, then
It's up to you. I don't have. I mean, I have the resources for a bit of forest travel. I have. If we choose to sacrifice another glade, we could do that to trap Scourge Fire. I hate the sacrifices that we've made already, but if that's what's necessary to end this, we could use this one here. And she gestures back at where the airship is currently anchored. Or we could try to go directly against him, or it, or her. How does one ask a dragon? Never mind. Whatever you think makes the most sense, I'm happy to do. I think Jason's talking, but he's muted.
stupid motorcycle people. I think we need to make a plan. So first, do we want to use the airship, or do we want to hide the airship? Do we want to go to the tower for help, or go on after him on our own?
I don't know.
I feel like if you have to drive, you can't fight. And unless you use the airship as a battering ram.
I mean, we can certainly, I think we can certainly reach out and attempt to contact them. I just don't necessarily think we need to show all our hands in case they have different goals than we do.
I mean, that was on the list of things we were asked to check out. So we're ticking a box whether we want to or not. How long would it take to just walk over there?
I could help facilitate a speedier trip if you don't mind riding. Do you mean to the tower or to the Firelands?
To the tower.
Yeah, that would be easy enough to do. You're not afraid of four-legged creatures, are you?
I am a four-legged creature.
She looks at you. Not what I mean.
I was just being silly, but
Anything is better than Grand's motorized vehicle.
Oh, I remember that. It didn't work.
it did not work.
It really did not. Yeah, so will you be off now, or?
What
She
time
seems
of day
almost
is it?
reluctant to let you go.
Just to clarify for my brain,
Are you
going
gonna
to
sneeze?
this tower and requesting aid.
We're just
While
gonna see like
battling
what
the
their
dragon?
beef is. We're gonna see like what their beef is with the dragon because they've been fighting it. So we're gonna see if they want
Or
to
rather,
fight.
it's been attacking them.
Yeah.
So,
I
you
guess,
know,
yes, with the
enemy of
dragon.
my enemy and all that.
Hmm. And that would be a better plan than possibly a surprise attack on the dragon, or setting a trap and luring it to us.
Yeah, I'm not super comfortable like attacking it in its own lair. I think is maybe not a good idea, but we could try to set a trap.
I mean, we could also see if they have any insight as to, you know, obviously they've successfully defended this tower for a while. So if they have any insight that they feel generous enough to pass along, it couldn't hurt.
I say if we can do it quickly enough before the dragon tries to attack here again, I'm down for that. I just don't want it to attack here again, if possible. Otherwise, let's go.
What time of day is it work?
It's midday.
How fast can you get us there?
Well, I have 3 friends who might help you, and their families. Would you like to meet them?
Sure.
Saying that, she reaches out her hand and seems to cup a little bit of air, and then springing forth into that air is a little tiny hummingbird that splits
Aw.
into 3 different hummingbirds and darts off in 3 different directions. So it'll just be a moment. Please,
Good, I was worried
eat.
we're gonna have to ride that little bird.
Eat. And as she says eat, you can see like a huge leaf unfurl and kind of become a table. And on that leaf is various food things, all just natural items, nuts, berries, nothing extravagant, but just really simple natural foods that would be easily obtained in a forest, but just gathered here in like just a delicious kind of variety. And then there's even a little nestled cup of honey. Please enjoy. And as you choose to partake or not partake, just side conversations, everything else like that. If there's anything you want to say or talk about or do before your potential mounts arrive, say so now, or we will fast forward.
I try everything but the nuts.
As you would.
I try everything.
Yeah, me too. As the table unfurls, I'm going to look at Bonnie and go, show off.
When you say show off, she smiles a little, like just the corner of her mouth quirking up really, really high. And she goes, oh, you should see what's going to happen next. And she just settles in and just starts very casually eating the nuts. And you can see there's a ton of different variety of everything. It's like there's blackberries, blueberries, things that are out of season are in season here. Cashews, pecans, like just, it's a very fun little variety there. And there's also a lot of strange vegetables you may not have recognized or seen. And while you're sitting there, you see animals you've never seen before. Some, Asher, that you've seen in books that you've maybe even shared with Trixie and Tanzanite. Cows, sheep, chickens, creatures that are not part of Overton at this point, but clearly have been released from those releases in the past. Yes, Tanzanite.
Can I point out the cow to the shepherd?
Sure.
That's a cow.
It has legs.
That one does. That's why the joke's so funny, because they don't normally.
They don't normally have legs?
No, they normally do have legs. So it's funny that a cow wouldn't have legs.
As you say that, you see this black stallion horse slowly walk by, and his gaze just reverts to that. That's a cool cow.
That's not a cow.
One might call that a nightmare.
Various other animals move by. You're gonna go kill them. Various other animals move by. You see some that are just beyond imagining. You see the one of the creatures that you saw as you flew overhead. It has just this huge horn at the front of its forehead, but otherwise seems to be some sort of furry, four-legged creature. You see some snakes that are flying, landing from tree to tree. You see just a wide variety of creature here. It's almost like they're in a sanctuary, and it's strange to see these creatures all gathered together, because you can tell that some are definitely predators and definitely territorial, but they're seeming to observe a peace here in this space. And as you're sitting there, you suddenly, all the animals kind of move away a bit, and running up comes a trio of, similar to the black.
Okay, I have a theory who this is going to be.
Okay.
Is it our kitties?
Not yet.
Okay.
But similar to the black stallion that you had seen, 4 mounts arrive, kind of tumbling after one another. And as they come, the wind whips around you, and you can see through them a bit. And their coat shimmers and is a little iridescent. And you can see they almost have like the hues of a sunset. And you can sense just by their presence that they are speedy, that they are almost of the wind themselves. And you can see its hooves are barely even touching the ground. There's a little bit of a pause, and then you see erupting from the tree line this magnificent creatures. There's 4 of them as well. They appear to be trees themselves, and they're massive, adorned with just lush foliage and blooming flowers all over it. And you can see that you could just ride on its back. Multiple creatures could ride on its back. And it almost, as it steps from the side of the forest, it almost seems to blur into the landscape. And it just possesses this deep connection to the flora and moves with this grace through the dense forest. Behind it, where you would expect to see destruction from such a massive creature, there's no trace that it ever passed. And then the last you see are, yes, Asher, some kitties. They are huge.
Do I recognize my kitty?
You go ahead and roll a, let's call it an insight check or animal handling. Let's call it animal handling. It's about time we have an animal handling check in this game.
You mean since the last time we had the cats?
Yeah.
I don't like this roll.
Which was a while ago.
Using the luck point.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a while, so maybe it would be low.
17.
It takes you a moment because they are, they're just so big. And you know how it is when you see somebody when they're a baby and then you get to see them maybe as a teenager, preteen, but then puberty hits and they're just a different being. It's a similar moment happens here. And it's their colossal feline features and the way that they just prowl with just elegance and power that was not yet theirs the last couple of times you saw them. Its height definitely takes a moment, and you can see its fur is just this mesmerizing pattern, blend of earthy tones and vibrant hues, and it really mimics the colors of various wildnesses. So it's just definitely a creature that can blur the lines for everything. It's the piercing golden eyes that remind you and let you know which one is which. You can see this keen perception and just uncanny ability to navigate at odds with the past. But Asher, the one that you knew best, locks eyes with you. And you can see retractable claws come forth, sharp as obsidian, and just really rending the earth beneath it as it begins to do a ginormous version of kitty biscuits right in front of you.
I'm going to get up and like run to him and just hug his giant head.
Roll a dexterity saving throw.
27.
He never learns, does he?
You run up and you see the claws go from kitty biscuits to immediate launch at you, and you move with such dexterity that you're able to evade all the claws coming at you all at the same time and dig in for a kitty hug. And there's this thunk, and you all can hear the giant lungs, the thunk through them as Asher's body impacts with this giant feline creature. And then even as you saw those claws closing in, they retract, and you hear a rumbling purr that reminds you of distant thunder. It just reverberates through the air, kind of signifying both a mix of danger and enchantment. And then you hear a roar from it, which is just this wild symphony of harmonies, which if you weren't all in a positive light with it, you would maybe be struck with fear.
I'm going to take out 2 strips of bacon and go to the other 2.
The bacon seems so tiny in comparison. They eagerly open up their jaws, and their teeth are your height, Trixie. Wow. And that's just its regular teeth, and then they pull back, and you can see their canines, which are twice the length.
I feel like Bonnie may have manipulated their growth somehow.
You can definitely tell that these are creatures of myth and legend now, regardless of what they might have been before. And they've still some memory of you, but they've definitely also got some primal instincts, untamed spirit, and just that wildness and wilderness combination. And as you get close enough to feed it, you can smell them. Asher, you are in the midst of the perfume. Have you ever smelled a wild cat? You can smell it.
That's okay. He's a good boy.
So, yes. And those are your three choices.
Well, shoot.
So cats, horses. Any
Cats, the horses, the wind horses, I guess. The
Yeah.
spirit wind stallions, and the grove guardians.
Oh, right.
We all have to pick the same ones.
Bonnie does not seem to. I mean, do you ask that of Bonnie?
Sure.
Do you think that there will be strength in having a diverse series of mounts? You're just going to the tower, correct?
Yeah.
I guess it's
The
more
grove
about us.
guardians move most swiftly through my woods, which would get you there quickly. But then once the mountains, they would slow down a bit. They still move quite quick, but and the spirit stallions, they're of the wind, so they can move swiftly. But if there are adverse conditions at the mountaintop, that might be a problem. The Felidar are your old friends, and you could also use them. But they can be temperamental.
Asher says,
Mercurial.
"Oh, he's a good boy."
Roll another animal handling check.
"19. Wait, 21. Math.
You feel yourself, your back, as you're saying, "Here's a good boy." You feel your back scraped by sandpaper as you are getting groomed. It is as gentle as they're capable of being grooming procedure. You now smell also like wet cat saliva.
Can I ask Bonnie? If you were to go, which one would you take?
I have not been able to leave, so I would probably. I would love to take the stallions. They're just so much fun, but I can travel as the Grove Guardians do, and that might be a unique experience for you. I'm sure you know what it will be like to ride the Felidar. They're just a little bit more tactile in travel.
Dan,
I
Jess,
I
what's your dexterity look like? Mine's good and Lewis's is good, but
It's okay. +3, 16.
I look up at the Grove Guardians and I go, they remind me of home. I like to sit with them.
Even as you say that, you can see that there's just a tranquil energy emanating from the Grove Guardians, and it just harmonizes with the nature around it. And because you know where they move to, you can still see them. But you think that even a passerby might not recognize them because they've already so deeply connected with the flora here that it's in a specific point that they're blurring into it. Well, that's one of you. And maybe two of you, she says, looking at Asher.
I'm gonna walk over to the like wind horses. What are they actually called?
The Spirit Wind Stallions.
Spirit winds. Spirit winds. If, can I look at them? I don't think I have any sort of a spell that would help with this, but I just want to like look at each of them because there's a few, right?
Mm-hmm. There are four.
Oh, perfect. I want to look at all four of them and just see if I can make a connection with any of them.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an animal handling check.
All right.
And then based on your roll, I'll kind of tell you where your success lies, and I'll have you describe what your interaction looks like.
And then animal handling. So 18.
Awesome. That is definitely a success. It is a pretty high success. So the DC for this was a 12. So given that, can you describe to me what the interaction with the Spirit Wind Stallion is like for you?
I feel like the one that I have the connection with would just simply leave like the other three and come up to me, make eye contact, and then just kind of like offer its back to me, like its side to like get on.
Yeah, it comes up to you. It doesn't necessarily offer its back so much as it envelops you. And rather than riding atop the spirit wind, you are encased in its interior. And as you start to levitate, and it starts to prance around, and your friends see you almost as like a shadow within the sunset of this spirit horse. And it's like flying.
Ooh.
Trixie, are you going to ride the Grove Guardian?
Mm-hmm. I just kind of like start to walk over where I perceived them last.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a nature check.
Okay. 12.
You're right at the meets. And so it's you walk over and you think you're walking right towards where it is, and what you don't realize is that you're already on it. Until suddenly the forest seems to start shifting around you as you're lifted up higher into the air.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
And you feel like you're standing in the middle of a glade that's somehow moving of its own volition. It hasn't started moving fast yet, but you are on it, and it is starting to move to the north.
I like slowly sink into like a crisscross applesauce seated position, and I just kind of grab like a fistful of grass kind of thing around me, and I'm just
when you
gonna
grab
hold
for a
on.
fistful of grass, you start to feel little vines encircle your waist very gently.
Okay, that'll do. That works.
And in front of you, a little leaflet appears, and in the leaf, it seems to slowly fill with a little amber liquid. And then a little berry tree sprouts next to you.
Man, you get like
First class.
In-flight snacks.
Yeah.
Asher, are you riding the fell Felidar?
Trying to decide. Because I also know if we end up like fighting the dragon, that it will probably try to help, and then it will die, and I'll feel terrible.
Protective instincts. Desire to have a fun ride on a kitty cat.
While he thinks, what does the nightmare homie do? What does he pick? Or is he fancy and can just travel on his own?
No. He definitely, you can see that he is very drawn to the same creatures you were drawn to. He's not having a lot of success yet. But he's slowly convincing one to come with him, and eventually he's able to gain enough attention to get a ride.
All right. I will take my battle cat and live out my He-Man childhood dreams.
Battle cat. Oh God.
Yeah, as you mount it, as you're sitting there, you actually it's not even a mounted situation yet. Bonnie comes over and brings you kind of like a blanket contraption that seems to be woven hemp and other components. She goes, I just find that this makes it a little bit more comfortable. Their spines are uncomfortable, so here, this might help you out, Asher. Good luck. Have fun. And with that, and kind of some sort of nod or indication from Bonnie, all four of these creatures split and take off heading north at high speed. The wind whips at your faces. Unlike the airship, where like somehow the airship kind of maintained an atmospheric pressure that allowed you to breathe at high speed, the wind is being whipped away that it's hard to breathe or talk at the speeds at which you're all going. For you, Trixie, you would see a tree branch, but you'd be then, just as you were ready to duck the tree branch, you'd realize that tree branch was miles behind you. And it's just the speed with which you're moving is, the wind is the only way that you understand that you're moving. For you, Asher, it is a bumpy ride, and you're really glad for that hemp mat beneath you. But this Felidar creature that was just a little kitty cat not terribly long ago is leaping off the sides of tree trunks, is spending more time in the air than on the ground as it leaps around. And Tanzanite, your creature, you feel nothing. You don't even feel the wind because you're part of the wind. You feel like you're an errant breeze following these other two, and behind you, you can see another errant breeze following behind, and you're almost unaware of the experience changing and shifting. Trixie, eventually, as you settle into just being on the continual move and not worrying about the things ahead of you and the things that are suddenly behind you, the leaf shrinks away and a new one is replaced with a golden, different liquid that sparkles a little bit. There's a little new plant blooms as the other one kind of withers away, and new options are availed to you. Asher, it's getting exhausting being thrown up and down, but it's also thrilling. And the longer you're on the Felidar, the more you feel the predatory nature of the beast that you're riding, and the purr of thunder, and a bit of bloodlust almost leaks over to you. Before long, you'll burst out of the forest. And as you burst out of the forest, you see a tree open up behind you, and Bonnie is waving through the tree. And then the tree...
I was going to say, I go to wave, but it's like one of those, like, where you go up. Nope, got to hold on.
You go to wave, and the vines catch you and pull you back down, but you also hold on tight because it's just too unnerving. And the tree closes up behind you, Bonnie, left behind in the forest. You track up this mountain. Evening starts to come. night is a sprawl. The Felidar's fur almost seems to shift color slightly to blend with the mountainous terrain to take advantage of the stars and moonlight. A small cloud is on the horizon to the northeast of you all. The tower stands in stark contrast until you're at the base of a mountain. Suddenly it's obscured by one mountain. You, Trixie, almost feel as if you're leaping from mountaintop to mountaintop once it reaches the top. But now your mount is cold. There's the touch of frost on it. And these leaps seem to be like desperate jumps to avoid unlit valleys, and it's trying to absorb every ounce of moonlight as it moves. Tanzanite, you are continuing to whip through, and you just feel like you should definitely not be able to move at this speed. I need you, Tanzanite, to roll a Constitution saving throw. Asher, I need you to roll a Dexterity saving throw. Trixie, you took the easy beast.
Is there any way that while they're doing that I can kind of like try to
That's not what I meant to do.
Share my key to like send some warmth? I guess it would be like a hand of healing kind of situation, but like, I don't know.
So you want to like channel your hand of healing key through this creature to help ward off the cold that it's feeling?
Yeah, I don't know if that feels a little druidy, but
let's go ahead and have fun with this. Let's roll nature.
okay.
You will have to use that key point or points or whatever it is.
Okay. Key.
Screak, 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 screak.
Ooh.
Those wind horses or spirit horses are.
I don't really have a high nature bonus, but I did roll really well. A 19.
Awesome. Yeah, you channel that key and you definitely feel a responsiveness. It's like an internal response though. The creature itself feels like it is keeping its outside components cold, but it does absorb that warmth, and you can see renewed energy as it leaps from mountaintop to mountaintop. Dawn arrives. You're at the base of the largest mountain, looking up at the tower at the top. Your creature's winded a bit from traveling all night. And then they seem to catch a second wind, or in Tanzanite's creature's manner, truly catches a second wind. And you start shooting up to the top of this mountain. And it takes several hours. It's noon before you get to the top. But you've moved at incredible speeds all night long, traversing a huge mountain range, cheated through a forest, and climbed to the tallest mountain in this world so far known to you all. As you reach the top, you can see that tower. Let me see if I have a little descriptor already or if I need to come up with it.
And all of us have to pee really bad because we've been riding.
Yeah, you've been riding all night. You will take a point of exhaustion unless you get some rest. But you can see that this tower is tall and slender. It has a square base, a pointed top, as typical of shiny towers in the middle of nowhere. It's made of a dark stone, but because it is smooth and polished, it seems to reflect a lot of light and appear brighter than it actually is. It does not appear to have very many windows, and you can see that there is a small door at the base. The door itself is made of iron, and layered. You can see scorch marks along the stone. You can see places where the smooth polish has been scraped away by claws. You can see up here, and you hear before you see really the crunch of snow and ice. And when the wind picks up, it kind of howls around the tower. The tower actually creates a nice sonic disturbance to the overall space. And every once in a while, you'll hear off in the distance a howl or a roar. It gives you a feeling of a little bit of mystery and, is it danger or excitement?
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
It's both fear-inspiring and fascinating. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to not sure exactly how to climb down, considering I don't really know how I got up. And once I guess I manage to, get my feet on the actual ground, I'm going to turn to the Guardian and just do kind of like a bow as thanks. And then I guess I'm gonna turn to Asher and Tanzanite and be like, are they gonna stay here, or are we gonna have to find our own way back, do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna climb off my, was it Felidar?
Yeah.
Kitty.
The kitty.
And be like, could you hang out here? Can you stay? Be a good boy.
Roll an animal handling check.
I can also ask Bonnie. If you want me to.
That might. We should have thought to ask before we left, but we're not very good at that necessarily.
25. I had to use a lucky point, but 25.
You get this huge lick, more reminiscent of a dog than a cat. And then you get nudged forward towards the tower.
He says he's going to wait here.
A greater intelligence being represented by this creature than you may have thought. Jess, your Tanzanite is deposited, released from the containment of the spirit wind, and so is the looking pretty green, and for whatever reason the nightmare shepherd, not a creature that should look green but definitely is looking green, and there seems to be a small puddle of shadow left behind as it is deposited. The spirit wind kind of neighs in a way that almost sounds like laughter, but is so breathy that you can't quite decide if it's that or just mocking. But there you are, the four of you stand in front of the tower. 5 of you. There's a small little scritch of a scratch called enemy.
I would really like to get some sleep. It was a very long ride. But probably right at their front door is not a great place to do that. Seems rude.
Maybe we can speak to them first and then ask if we can just bunk for the night and then while we figure out a plan about the dragons.
Rourke, should we take an exhaustion point for now? Or should
Yeah.
we? Okay.
Yeah.
Boo.
Tanzanite's used to it. She's exhausted all the time because she refuses to sleep.
Conditions.
All right. I'm going to go up and knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, you knock and it takes a little bit.
Oh, goodness. Hello. Oh, hello.
The doggy is so distracting to me. I'm just like, I want to go scritch it, scritch, 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 scritch. You watch out, doggy. About a month or so, and I'm going to go over and give you scritches.
Oh, she will be very glad for them. You have lots of surface area to scritch.
Finally, the door opens, and there's a small person. They have a long white beard, kind-looking face. It's clear that they are well-traveled. They do not appear to be of Earth. You've run into enough extraplanar beings and folk that have been in other places that you recognize a little bit of that light in them. There's a little bit of an exaggeration of features that seems odd and different. And just in his eyes, you can see that he's seen many things. And you can see kind of even in its own home, this little individual has a ton of pockets all about their person. Very clean, well put together. They definitely present a little bit of a conundrum because they don't look so much like, the beard might make you think they're a wizard with a tower, but the other components just don't add up. It's a little disconcerting. Welcome.
Hello. I'm Asher. These are my companions, Trixie and Tanzanite.
Oh, welcome. Are you guests? Are you clients?
We were just hoping to learn more about this tower and who lives in here.
Well, my people and I live here. We've come to here because the enrichment of the area is just too much to resist. And we have made some contacts, although there's been some problems recently. So I just need to check you out. And as he says check you out, he pulls a little monocle from one of his pockets, pops it up onto his eye, and he kind of glares at you all. You all appear to not be red or fire breathing, so that's lovely. You might have an itch with fire, which is a little disconcerting, but I see that you are concerned about fire too, which is also disconcerting. But nevertheless, actually, hold on a moment. And he pulls from a different pocket a different monocle, sticks it on to his other eye, glares at you again. You are bright and shiny. Oh, well, you are exciting. Just as bright and shiny as this whole new world will be for us, I hope. Welcome. Clients again, or you? I think I've confused myself. Clients or guests? Yes, that is what I am asking.
Let's go with guests for right now.
Well.
What is your service for?
We were at an emporium. An emporium of those things which become imbued by the essence of a place, and the essence grows and you can articulate it to create wonders.
Cool. So you sell stuff.
That is what I said, is it not?
Just clarifying. Cool.
Well,
can we look? Can we take a look?
Please, welcome to the Emporium of Wonders. And he kind of does like a little quarter bow, and the door behind him that had opened outwardly opens a little bit further, and you can see a well-lit lobby-looking space with several different stairways heading up and down.
I will go in, I guess, to the lobby area. Hopefully my friends are coming with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you follow the Asher in, he kind of peeks around the door, looks up in the air. Stupid neighbors. The door closes as he kind of pulls it shut.
Yeah, your other neighbor down in the forest is a close friend of ours, and she asked us for help with the dragon.
They seem the quiet type, a little bit of a recluse. We did attempt to send an emissary, but could find no one, and yet I know that that's not truly what's going on down there, which is just shut-ins these days. What can you say?
Yeah, we could probably facilitate some communication. She can't really leave from down there. She has an arrangement. So, but if we tell her that you're okay, then they probably will not hide from you.
Well, early on, I did reach out to a folk who said that they would reach out for contracts, but we've had a little bit of an interruption in communication services. And
was it Grand?
You know of this Grand? Yes,
I do know of Grand. Yes,
they
we've done work
seem
together.
Quite the sort. I really do see a future in that partnership. If I can just get rid of one pest.
Yeah, he's a decent guy. You know, he likes to make a living like everyone else, a good living. But yeah, he's fairly trustworthy and honest. So been a help to us in the past.
I would hope so. I would not want to deal with an untrustworthy sort, although I do fear I am not the trustworthy sort, since I have been unable to return the calls, so to speak.
What's your name?
Well, I go by many names, and I would love to offer you mine. I am often called Melchior the Magnificent, which is ridiculous. You should never call me that. I prefer just being Mel. But you can also call me the Guide. It's grown quiet in my walls again. I'm going to peek outside.
I'm going to reach into my stuff. I'm going to pull out that sending stone that goes to Grand. Be like, hey, Grand, we're here with Mel, the Guide, and he says you owe him contracts. Don't forget. Okay, bye.
There's like a little bit beat, and you can hear clearly one of Grand's many assistants and flunkies, a secretary, basically. Melchior, yes, outstanding contracts, current inability to regain contact due to fiery death. There's this whoever wrote these notes about fiery death does not, and you can hear them trailing off as they kind of complain about somebody using fiery death as a notation.
Holding the stone to my ear like it's a cell phone.
and you slowly lose contact with them as they complain about whoever is not properly annotating the records with details.
They said fiery death is keeping them from delivering your contract.
Yes, that would be a great name for the giant pain of a different, not your neighbor.
The people in the forest call him Scorchfire.
That seems like a light name for him. I mean, he's literally trying to burn down my tower just because I did not find his deals acceptable. It's not much of a deal when one's making demands rather than offering opportunities for trade.
So the reason we're here was because we first wanted to, introduce ourselves.
You are welcome. What is your name?
I'm Trixie.
Trixie. I am Melchior the Magnificent, blah, 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 blah. Or Mel, if you'd like.
So essentially we are part of an alliance of people who are working to defeat the evil dragons, the ones who are seeking to rule without or to make deals, by making demands rather than, living in harmony. And so the three of us have effectually been tasked with killing the red fire breathing dragon. And before we engaged in such a battle, we wanted to, since you are also plagued by it, to kind of give you a notice, and that way if you had anything that could be helpful, or just to let you know in case something went wrong and it decided to come this way, that you could bolster up any additional defenses you may have. But
there's an old saying in our world that goes, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend."
Not that we are enemies, but just we wanted to let you know that we are going to be engaging in combat with this dragon, and
That's what I mean. The enemy.
So you seek to lift
of
the embargo.
both enemies of the dragon. That makes us friends. That's the.
Yes, by taking the dragon's life, I don't think it's going to want to make any deals with us. So.
Oh,
What embargo are you talking about?
well, clearly this dragon, as you put it, has embargoed my establishment from trade with the greater whole of this world, and I find that highly unacceptable. I'm not one for politics, but I would like to have open trade.
It seems more like you're under siege than.
Well, a siege has the hint that they might be able to actually breach the defense, which is patently not possible. The Emporium of Wonders is well protected.
How
Good to hear.
so? What do you have in place that's so great that it's preventing him from?
Our crafters have worked tirelessly over the eons to properly enchant this space. It takes damage and then heals from it as I don't know. Are your people advanced in the ways of magic, or is this...
Some of us.
I would say
We're
that
learning.
yes, we're not established. The three of us are probably some of the most advanced, and we still are very much learning our abilities.
So you might be spry young talents, but in a world that is archaic.
Yes, in a way.
Oh, no worries at all. I've been to many a place, and the purpose of my sojourn to this location is to develop new spaces and new pedigrees of magic, so that my items may glimmer and glam for eons to come.
Do you have anything that will help us against?
Oh, certainly. I do not know what you can afford.
I guess it depends on what currency you accept.
Or we not make a deal as if we destroy this dragon, you will be able to once again take part in trade, thanks to us getting rid of it.
Well, I could offer the reward for a lift of embargo, which is something we have often offered in the past. Is that something you might seek? Is that you are also asking for the reward of such sort, or is this something different?
We, and my friends can, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't necessarily need payment for completing this task as much as aid in completing the task. So if you have any tools you would like to donate to the cause, that
Oh, that is
very
not
appreciated.
the way in which we operate. We're definitely centered around commerce. We would seek trade and such, but we can pay you in your currency the appropriate amount that would meet your needs.
Oh,
And then you could then utilize those currencies to purchase from our shops.
But that would be retroactively. I mean, if we could browse your wares now, we could.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a, how do I say this, rarity that you are seeking?
Anything to help defeat a dragon, specifically one who breathes fire.
Well, even the smallest item might turn out to be magnificent and preposterously amazing. I feel like I am working against you on accident here. I'm trying to discover what you can afford.
um,
I don't remember how much money we have. I feel
Yeah,
like Jason's the bank.
I think I'm the
have-
bank.
I have 6,900 gold on me,
Let
and
me
then
see.
Jess has more in her bank.
Inventory. I have
And Trixie has a ton in hers.
I
also
do.
I also have a whole bunch.
549 gold. I think that's all of ours, though. I think I added all the chunk.
How much do you have?
34,549.
Yeah, that's what's in. Like that was what was in the dragon's hoard that we took.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a ton in my inventory. Did you mean Tanzanite, Rick?
I did mean Tanzanite. I mixed
Okay,
that up.
that's fine.
You definitely have a
I'm just
decent amount.
Well, next time we're in Overton, we need to
little
dump the contents of the bank
Yeah.
into my bag of holding.
Um,
Well, you had the bank connection.
Right.
I think we even put some in there. I
Yeah.
think we gave a chunk to your mom. But
Yeah.
anyway, can I
But we have lots of gems and some Overton currency on us.
Yes, I am well connected to your banking system already.
And we do have a bank account with quite a bit more in it. So I think
we're not
Oh, great.
concerned by money. What we're concerned by is the ability to defeat this dragon, which will then in turn make you more profit by being able to take part in trade.
Oh, of course, of course.
also do you have
Uh,
potions?
Well, of course, that would be one of the simplest things that I have available.
Yeah. Do you have like none of us slept. We rode all night to get here. Do you have a potion for that?
Well, of course, that would be amongst... Oh, that is right. Archaic civilization, new things to new people. Yes, I do have things along those lines, although simply having a meal and relaxing would be also a way to salute.
But I'm concerned what happens if the dragon shows up before we can sleep for 8 or 9 hours.
Well, I saw that you had mounts that you took here. You could put them in the stable and rest the night. As you said, you came as guests first, clients second, possibly.
Okay.
Hospitality rules say that I do need to put you up for the night. But if you would like to browse my wares, we could just have an open session with the vaults locked. I'll send someone to gather your creatures.
Okay. They're a little wild. Is your person okay with that?
Oh, certainly. And
Okay.
he taps, pulls another object out of one of his mini pockets and taps a wand up against a stone. And you see the door, one of the doors up a set of steps opens. And you smell the smell of hay and manure and other scents of what you would think of smelling from a stable. And the individual walks down the stairs and says, I am gathering the amounts. Is that it? And you see this person is not really a person. Their face seems blank. I will gather your amounts and ensure that they are well fed and stored properly as they deserve.
Thanks, buddy.
The kind of moves. Yeah.
Can Can I lean into Trixie and just kind of like whisper so that only she could hear and simply say, he clearly does not wish to help at all unless we pay him. So I feel as though we are going to get nothing out of him. Perhaps we rest and then go about our business.
I mean, if he has resources, it's certainly not. It's not a crime to pay for them. I mean, he could change his mind afterwards. He seems very business oriented, and even if he doesn't choose to be an ally in the fight, he's still a resource. So I think we need to take advantage. Not advantage, but we need to.
I understand.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying the way you rephrased that. Not advantage, but advantage.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Asher's over here like, what do you have for swords? And do you have any of these? And he pulls out his gun.
Oh, of course. Now, I can show you our 6 different shops, and you can choose where you feel more confident about your ability to afford the items there within. Would you first prefer to negotiate out and be aware of the prize for relieving the embargo, or is this something you are...
Sure. What's the prize?
Yes. Well, so our embargo would be, as we have 4 individuals here, that comes to, let me see here. Usually when you divide, that would be 80,000 gold apiece.
Okay.
320,000 gold
Asher
is
just like,
the typical full award for relieving an embargo of an establishment of this sort.
yeah, we'll take that.
Excellent.
I don't suppose you offer credit on that?
No.
That's okay. We have some money, so we'll be okay. What do you guys want to look at? Anything?
Yes, I would be interested in potions as well as possible new armor to assist in the best defense against a red dragon.
And what tier are you looking for? I'm still not sure which shop to send you to.
One of the tiers again?
They haven't really indicated what that is, nor have you asked.
I
Just
would say our budget is.
Can you describe the tiers to us?
Oh,
I mean,
certainly.
there's like rare,
So
like
we
whatever
have
the ones are.
our most affordable space is the common shop, which is less likely to support you unless you have some basic item that would be very successful there. Then we have our shop of uncommon goods. It's quite lovely. And then we have a space that is dedicated to some of the more rare items that you might find out in the world and the less frequently observed. And then we have those that are extra special, just a titch above. And then we have our most esteemed space, the legendary archive.
I'd say the top 3.
Well, I guess you'd have to give us an idea of what
Price ranges?
one item out of each of those tiers would normally cost, to give us an idea of where we would most efficiently spend the funds we currently have.
Well, it can range just a bit. Sometimes you'll find something in our most legendary of vaults that is fairly affordable at 20,000 gold pieces, and then other times you'll find a more common item that we have access to, but because of what it can do and what it's capable of, it will be priced possibly upwards of 30,000 gold pieces. At the same time, you can also find a shield, your common everyday animated shield, which is not so common as it is very rare, but you can find those for around 6,000 gold pieces. So there's some fluctuation, but overall, if you're looking in those spaces, that's the range you will be looking at. In the rare zone, it's fairly
I
normal.
look at them.
What's that?
Oh, I just look at them and I go, I think we're in the middle one.
If you're looking for something simple, like say amulet of health, something for a sick relative that you're willing to splurge a bit, you could probably pick that wondrous little rare item for 6,000 gold pieces, depending on current supply and demand.
So I guess the rare room and then the slightly above rare room.
Yeah, I think we're in the rare to very rare range.
Oh, beautiful. I do hope you will find yourselves in a position, maybe post-embargo, to explore our other spaces as well. But please, here as any gestures to one staircase that is available, will take you to our rare spaces. And then he gestures to another staircase. We'll take you to our very rare provisions.
Okay.
Please direct me to where I can find strong potions as well as a chainmail that will be good defense against a red dragon.
Potions, I believe you would find in both spaces. If you're looking for just your general elixirs of health, you might head to the rare room. But if you're looking for something a little more scintillating, such as the oil of sharpness or the potion of flying, those would be items we'd keep in the very rare location. A potion of invisibility would also be in the very rare space. If you have an aging and elderly member of your family that you'd like to protect their longevity, we do have one potion of longevity. It is available in the very rare room. It's for your chainmail. That is something you can find in quite a few spaces. It depends on our current stock, of course. But you should be able to find various armors in either space. Just as aforementioned before, the animated shield or something more interesting. Would you care to peruse one or the other?
I do like a slight annoyance of a sigh. And I'm going to head to the rare room.
Okay. Can you roll a D100?
Okay. I'm going to have to do that on the computer.
Hooner?
On the computer, yeah. Whoa! My chapstick. Alright, D... How does D&D Beyond not have a D100? Okay, D...
This one?
100 roll.
Ooh, something got really
Jason.
itchy voiced. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's a car parked outside with his radio cranked up.
Yeah, Jace, you got really loud there for a
Your
second.
mic is super hot.
I've been on mute, guys.
No. I mean, when you do have it unmuted, you go suddenly really, really hot, like louder than you normally are.
Is your app still closed? Or open, rather? I don't know. All of a
There's
sudden,
a car outside.
Yeah, we heard the car, but your voice is like...
your voice
fire.
got really loud. Can you
I don't
check?
know.
Can you,
Rich, yours used to do this all the time. I don't know what the
Oh,
solution
it's
is.
back to normal now.
there
Huh.
it goes.
Yeah, did it go back?
It did. Say
Talk
something?
again, Jace.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
Yeah, something, I don't know. It's something weird.
What
with
about
these.
the glowy thing?
play a game.
Can you do the like where you
Glowy thing.
yeah on the touch menu on the mic where you can turn it up louder or softer?
Oh.
Maybe you accidentally did that.
Okay, well, whatever.
Here, this touchy part. This touchy part.
I didn't change anything.
Back off, dude. You're very loud.
I guess you get to be further away from your mic now. Cool. Sorry.
I rolled a 78.
Awesome. So you went into the rare room, you rolled a 78. As you walk in, you see that there are a wide variety of items here. And in the middle of it, there appears to be a suit of armor with a very large kind of accoutrement, lots of gems and such, a cape, an amulet at the middle of its chest, and it almost comes to life when you walk in. You are welcome, customer. Dex will handle your purchases today. What do you seek?
Hello. I am currently looking for potions of healing, as well as possible potions or items to give resistance against fire, as well as a shield or a chainmail to also aid in resistance of a red dragon.
I can offer you 2 items to consider. I would love to bring your eyes to this molten bronze skin, or perhaps you would be interested in the shield of missile attraction.
Could you explain what those 2 items do?
Oh, quite. And then they kind of gesture, turn awkwardly, machine-like almost, and then they come back around, and you can see that there's a jug that seems to contain something that is molten inside. He begins to describe, as you attune to this, the bronze will adhere and contour to your skin. You can wear it under your clothes. It will not impede your bodily functions, but once you put it on, it will be attached to you until you decide to remove it. It does give you resistance to fire damage.
That is incredible. What about the shield?
Ah, yes. What shield did I say I was going to offer you?
A missile. Something about a missile.
Yes, the shield of missile attraction. Now,
Yes.
this is, I will let you know, a shield that has some stories to it. But while holding this shield, you are supposed to have resistance to damage from ranged attacks, which may be a feature of a dragon fight. It is a story that it also seems to attract those missiles that may have been intended for another. I have found that the previous owners of these have valued that feature when defending friends.
And what would be the price of both of those items individually?
I have to hunt my little list here, so give me a second.
Go shopping.
The shield would be 800 gold pieces, and the good grief, work. Find your place and don't lose it. And the armor, I can get you for the low price of not being able to see anything.
So 800.
10,000 gold pieces. We do have other items if you would wish to explore further.
If you could hold these 2 items for me, that would be wonderful. And I am going to wait to speak with my friends, and I will give you my decision.
Excellent. Our customers have been slow, so I doubt that you would lose this current commission anytime soon. We are currently under an embargo, as you may be aware, And then the
Well,
robot starts to shut down a little bit. Slowly.
goodbye.
It kind of comes back up a little. Oh, I apologize. And as it comes back, that robotic switch into a more swishy voice. You.
Have a rest. I'm gonna just like wander the space until I've looked at everything and or one of my friends comes in.
Yeah, I mean, you wander the space. There are at least 100 items, if not more here. There's a cabinet with various potions that are labeled very clearly, but in a language you don't recognize necessarily. And it's an emporium.
Mm-hmm.
Asher or Trixie, I think we have time for one more person, and then we'll hold for next week.
Jason.
Okay. What?
Back up,
Your
you're
mic
really
is hot.
loud.
You don't have to be so close to your mic right now. For whatever reason, it's picking up really loudly.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
I don't know
really
if it's like
Is it like picking up your headset or something? I don't know.
Now
what's
you're
going
like gone.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
really weird.
on. We can troubleshoot this afterwards. Maybe it's.
I guess I'll go.
We'll go with Trixie, and then we'll troubleshoot Jason's after the show's over for the day.
Okay. I guess I would like to. Which room did you go to?
I
She went to the rare room.
So
Okay.
like the second tier.
Okay. Can I? And you're at 10,000. You said.
I am leaning towards the shield, possibly both, but more so the shield.
Okay. So if you did both, it would be 10,000.
And then potions for in here are all of us.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll go to the very rare room. Just to see if there's like a particular thing that there might be.
Avast ye laddie, you come in and you're already being greeted. Steady our ship and stow your scimitars. We've got company. And coming towards you is a very green-skinned, orcish-looking creature, rotund, a tail, arms up wide, going in for a hug.
Did someone tell you who I'm rumored to be already?
Nah. Are you looking to make a trade? Come aboard and see what we have. Old Drubal has it for you.
Okay. Okay. I hold up my bracers and I kind of indicate to my belt. I'm kind of looking for something like these. I don't really wear armor, but I could really use something that helps me be okay. So my fighting style is very much up close and personal. So I'm gonna need I guess either something that helps me hold on to more difficult surfaces, or something that makes me a little bit more resistant to dragon fire.
Could you roll a D100 for me, please?
This always goes well.
hello.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay.
It's still a little, but not as bad at all. It's so much better. Wonder what happened.
I'm talking a lot quieter. Maybe that's helping.
Yeah, it's still definitely hot.
I don't know why it's so crackly. That's so weird. We'll figure it out afterwards, though. No worries.
11 out of 100. 11.
11. Okay, so let's go over here to this list, and then let's go to this list. All right. That's... Sorry, it's going to take me a little bit longer than I mean for it to get this to work.
It's okay.
Well, you are in luck. I do have something I could do for you, but it's going to be strange. I can offer you a service, a tattoo, so to speak.
Oh, tattoos.
And I kind of look at
Oh, you're gonna have to shave.
my fur and I go, is that really possible for someone like me?
Oh, it goes into the skin. It may change the color of your fur in the location in which the tattoo occurs. But I have tattooed many and he kind of reaches up into his very thick, bushy white beard. I have tattooed many a pirate, and then they've let it grow out, and strange colors may be seen.
Oh, okay, so what does the tattoo do?
Well, what I am thinking is you don't wear armor, and this would grant you a strength of protection for your body a bit higher than what you have. Kind of ignores most else that you have, possibly, but can bring you up a bit if it works for you. And what he is offering you is a tattoo that gives you a base level of AC of 18. I don't know if that would help you when you add in your other two pieces, if that would be any higher than where you're already at.
Asher could maybe use it.
I guess I don't know. I don't remember how.
I mean, your base AC is your armor, dexterity, and you have the unarmored defense. I think your base AC is higher than that, so this may not be a good one for you.
Right, and we also talked about with my multi-classing. Is there a way to reconfigure, like to manually up my AC?
Yeah, we can. You
Okay.
mean in terms of we can do that.
Yeah.
But this would be a magical item to up your AC.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. Can we talk about it after, and then like maybe I decide to purchase just to make sure I fully, if I
Oh,
can,
yes,
if I can
you-
crunch the numbers. Okay.
You are more than welcome to consider these things in the future and decide on other things if you'd like to. I have been given notes that you're probably staying the night, so take your time.
Okay.
If you're
anything-
interested in something a little more esoteric, I could offer you a look at that.
Sure.
I've always wanted to share, and he pulls this aside a curtain. This painting is by Deschi de la Juan de Mexico, and it shows Constantinio, beautiful court here. And you see a model painting, and it's just this individual that she looks beautiful, but she's wearing a hood, and you sense just some like magic to this painting. And as it's being uncovered, the figure in it moves, looks at you, and you hear in Draconic, Elvish, and Common at the same time. You aren't worth my time. And then he shoves the curtain closed and says, she's a pain, but you can command her to guard a location of your choice, and she will do quite well.
Interesting.
Yes, it's one of the more exciting items that we've had in our special rarities room.
So, what what would you need to trade for the tattoo?
Well, it would have to be something of equitable value, of funds, or I am taking to understand that not you. He was your friend. I don't see it on you. And he looks really disconcerted. That there was some magic items on one of you that were extraneous, and we could purchase those, but
My friend has some in his bag. I think that might be what you're thinking of.
yes, quite powerful. Could easily be turned over to the crafters to redesign for new purposes and higher value markets.
Okay, well, we'll keep that in mind if, as an option. What if we were to do straight funds? What would the cost of the tattoo be?
Okay, give me a second to go back to the other page.
Sorry.
This is why having more monitors would be nice right now. Luckily, this is in alphabetical order, so all I have to do is find the tattoo list. What tattoo did I tell you?
You didn't. You just said a tattoo that would bump my AC, like my base AC 18. So there wasn't like a name.
It would be 5,000 gold pieces.
Okay. Okay, well let me think it over and I can let you know in the morning.
Excellent. We will talk in the morning. I think I hear another customer coming, so this is the most excitement we've had in weeks since that stupid imbecile of a neighbor. And he just kind of like continues to drawl through all the stuff. I changed his accent like 6 times in the middle of this, but he's still a parody accent, so pretend. Imagine. And I think at this point we need to, unless Jason, you want to tempt it, see if it works. No, okay. We'll pick up with shopping and sleeping.
How about
Oh yeah, you sound okay.
Weird.
Now it's fine.
I can barely hear you when I do that, but apparently it makes my voice fine. I don't know what I just did, but all right.
Okay. Do you want to attempt to shop, or do you want to?
Sure.
Awesome. Which room are you going to?
I'm gonna say very rare first.
Okay, go ahead and roll a D100.
Aim high.
Always.
Took me a second to realize what that was. It was that freaking
95.
gigantic metal die.
Awesome. Is there anything specific you're looking for?
Not really. Just like guns, swords, armor, maybe. I mean, I have like dragon armor already, sort of, so I'm pretty good there. Yeah, my sword is crap. My thing is still pretty good.
Okay, let me really quickly pull together this whole list of things here. I should have been ready for this, but I forgot.
What's interesting is my microphone app is frozen, and that's when it started working better. I think it was trying to update the firmware, so I think something was wrong. But we'll see. Anyway.
Okay. You are Trixie is kind of perusing the space and poking into different things, and you see the same. Aye, mighty, welcome aboard. We're all here for you. I would love to show you around and help you explore your options here. And he immediately, seeing you, picks up a rifle. Would you be interested in something along these lines?
I've
Balance out what you've got going on right now.
never really seen one. I guess I've seen one person that had something like that. I've never used one before.
Oh, it's a nice balance to what you have going on right there, but it has a few other things that it works out well. It has a little bit more of a spice, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Does it take the same bullets as my other gun?
Well, it doesn't so much take bullets as make its own.
Interesting. Can I hold it?
Yeah, he hands off this.
And I murder hobo them all. No, I'm just kidding.
Go for it. This highly decorated rifle. It is, a functional weapon would not have this much decor, but this is a magical weapon and still functional. And you are just looking at this ridiculous rifle that has a ton of just all the different components and things. And then they say, well, this one is quite lovely as you have a capacity for burst fire and automatic reloads up to 30 shots at a time.
That's a lot more than my current weapon holds. What sort of damage does it do?
Well, it depends on how close you are up to things. But if you stay a bit away, you can get a 10-foot range and scatter it all about. And, you'll see creatures duck and dodge and see what they can get away with things. But it is quite a beauty when it fires. And you are given to understand that it does 2d8 piercing per bullet that hits an individual creature, but they'd get to do a dexterity saving throw if it's used in burst fire mode.
Okay.
If it's used in single shot mode, it's a attack roll, and it gets a +3 to attacks. So it'd be a +3 plus your proficiency plus your, I believe, dexterity.
Okay. How much is that?
Well, this one here is a lovely beast of a weapon here, and sorry, gotta find it.
Were you saying something when I was messing around with my mic about dragon masks? Or no?
It was this was with Trixie, and Trixie heard that they talked about being interested in trading for magical items.
Okay.
Basically, I'm boiling it down. They didn't say it as bluntly as that, but that had happened. This one would be around 10,000 gold pieces. You see, the engineering is a bit tricky on these special jobs.
Okay. Yeah, I have to talk to my companions. We have a shared pool of money that we're working with.
Oh, quite right. And if you'd like to see a couple of fun little things that I have here.
Sure.
Yes, I'd love to show you a true treasure. It barely belongs in my space, but apparently it's been here. And he takes you over to a different part of the space. And let me scroll. Sorry. I lost the page. And presents to you this black or maybe even dark blue robe that is embroidered with small white and silver stars. You can see that there are 6 of these of some jeweled ones that are not part of the embroidery. And he says to you, yes, this is a lovely cloak. A little bit of protection, a little bit of attack, and, well, a little bit of phasing through worlds here.
Interesting.
That is on the pricey end. It is 20,000 gold pieces, but it's something to consider. We also have something even more mystical in one of the other shops that this one's slightly related to. But this particular piece, we call it the Robe of Stars. I went Irish again. Good grief, I can't even keep it together.
It was an Irish
I
pirate.
like the back and forth.
So like, Rurik can't accent straight. But yes, to your friends, to your rest. Best not to negotiate on an empty stomach anyways. G'day, my matey. Just going worse and worse. I'm going to go down a dark, dark tunnel.
Oh boy. All
Yep.
right. Yeah, we'll get some rest and we'll decide in the morning.
Aye.
Oh, do you have any swords?
Oh,
All I
of
have
course.
is this. I just hold up. I'm pretty sure I've had that same like rusty rapier that Asher has always had. That like he found in a cave as a teenager and like shined it up.
He looks at what you have, looks at you, and it's clear that because his eyes glow for a little second, that he's like checking in your magical aura and all the items you have, and he goes, "Give me 600 gold pieces now."
Okay. And I just like count it out and give it to him.
He takes that, tucks the bag into another bag of some sort, and reaches over without even looking, flicks open a case with his fingers, pulls a sword and scabbard out, and hands it to you. Toss that disgusting thing and use this instead.
Okay.
You can add a sword of sharpness to your inventory. Or I can add it for you if you don't know where to find that.
I don't see it. So
No problem. I can find it for you.
thanks. Okay, sorry. That was literally the first sword I ever found. I've had it for many years. Somehow managed not to break it.
What type of sword do you usually use?
Rapier. Trixie's the pirate. I have the rapier. I'm not sure how that worked out.
I don't know. Actually, he does not hand you that. He hands you the dancing rapier.
Okay.
Since you said rapier. Sorry. It is now in your inventory for you to decide whether or not you want to equip it or whatever else it might require. I have no idea what it requires because I don't remember. All right. I think with that, and given that next time is definitely going to be a rest and shop trip, possibly, you have an award being dangled over you for something that you were already planning to do, of quite a significant amount. So,
Oh, I'm gonna ask him if I can keep my rapier. So I'm gonna put it in my bag of holding. My old one.
he didn't want that. He told you to
Oh.
toss that rusty piece of garbage.
Gotcha. Okay. I feel like someday it'll hang above Asher's fireplace as his first weapon. when he has a fireplace.
I mean, that could happen. Thank you all for joining us. We had a lovely time. I had a lovely time joining y'all in my ridiculous inability to follow an accident.
Accident.
I have lost it all.
That's right, you have. You dirty
It's-
bastard.
This is fearsome. I didn't even put the mountain background up. Oh my gosh. All the things I didn't do. That beautiful thing was supposed to be up there this last bit. Clearly not even capable of being part of the show. They're going to vote me off the island. It's all over now.
Yeah. The one running the game is going to be voted off the island.
Accent drift beyond all belief. But thank you for bearing with us. Hope you're having a wonderful time. Covering people's faces. I forgot that I do that when I hit that button, so I'm not going to hit that button. But thank you. It's been lovely. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and bye.
We'll see you next week.
Okay,
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.